Computer is off for now because there's been so much weirdness in the house, but windows are open. The Dark Journalist, very important for our community because he's reading Steiner. He showed his coffee-stained book from college, The Eighth Sphere. At 1 hour and 23 minutes, every synergist needs to go listen. Just 1 hour and 23 minutes for about 10 minutes. He describes the nano, and then he calls it exactly what it is. He's like, oh, welcome to the nano. And he says, well, that's 100 years ago. Kind of like the ITU and all their satellites. Oh, how did that left-hand brotherhood know? It is my sincere, very grounded in market share, money, linear track, corporate handoffs, technology. The wireless has always been here. In our realm, planet Earth, however you want to look at it, and they trade the power of who commands the wireless around. That is really what I have found. In this episode, he also talks about what they did to Blavatsky. Thank you. And I know that some of you think that the Dark Journalist is in the same category with Alex Jones. I'm not so sure. I don't know. I haven't been out here nearly as long as a bunch of you, but he's pretty consistent and adamant when it comes to being honest in regards to the intelligence community and other aspects of underhanded beep type of, fuckery. And he'll call it like it is, and then he'll keep going. Pardon my language, but he does. The other thing that I appreciate is for those of you that still don't get it, you're like, what? What's with the body part? Like, why does it matter? We need an answer now. He explains. Handing off your sovereignty, your ability to think, what are you going to do for yourself? We should have never done that because whoever you are, you ain't living in my skin. Okay. So then his really nice assistant lady, I like her. Her tone of voice, the way she talks, the way she takes questions, I like her. So she comes in and she goes, X is like Mars. It's just like battle out there. Oh, amen, you wise woman, you. And then they were discussing things like with the different cosmology, which Gigi Young is another person I would recommend that you listen to if you're interested. She's very smart. She's very wise. She's very kind. And that you take on the Venusian atmosphere while you're there. This is the cosmology theory in part. And then you're in Mars, and then you come back here to Earth to finish up all your classes and graduate. And then, what was the other one? That's really important. Because, of course, there's the JFK stuff and things that he's already went over with aerospace. And I'm working on finding the Dr. Farrell links that I had already put together, so I will leave those links here on this video. Oh, the other important component, well, one of them, is when he talks about the way that, like with Crowley and how they created all these orders and these groups of people. They call America the land of cults. I've talked about the same problem. They're all in these different mystery schools of Pythagoras and math. Essentially, they're wielding the wireless. They're wielding electrical engineering, beam steering, and math. And the danger that we're in now, as he's describing the eighth sphere, is that you don't have access to your own W-band. And those of us who've been complaining for 30 years, nobody cares. We're at that point. And what happens is, before your soul can leave this place, to return to wherever, travel elsewhere, They put you in that eighth sphere. Yeah, that's called biocomputing, plasmonics, photonics, and the microtubules of your brain. Where back in 2013, they're like, there's consciousness in the microtubules, until they put it in quantum computing, which they've been very busy with. So I would really suggest to those of you that still don't get it, why would I care? If you can't feel your own bioelectricity, you're going to have a hell of a time without a bioelectronic wearable. And the moment that you put that wearable on, transdermal patch, any of it, you're on the back end of the Ahriman system, which apparently is the evil dude in the Persian religions. This is why you people that keep getting wound up with your dogma, I'm like, whoa, oh, that's what it was. He talks about the elements in this episode in the way that Steiner did. Y'all have heard me comment on it many, 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 many times. The elements, like the fire, plants, and the different ways that energies get along and come together, and the ones that don't. Oh, and then he talks about a little commentary from Casey with that. And essentially, I'm only about an hour and a half in, but I really want our community, if you're interested, and I hope you are, just to hear from 1 hour and 23 minutes, listen for about 10 minutes to what Rudolf Steiner said 100 years ago, and then put in everything I've taught you about the ITU from the 1880. What? The Navy has the wireless. Liberace and his sister singing about it in high school in 1930. The mafia using the wireless to affect people whether or not they want to stay and eat or get up and leave in New York City in 1930. And then you hear more and more and more, pardon my nose, of business with this equipment that you're all using right now today. And the reason I bring this up is because of what he started with. We all know that von Braun and them had the final stage of the plan, which is alien invasion. And Dark Journalist surmises that they're moving away from that because they're not quite sure how it's going to work. And for us here on the channel, it's real intense right now. And people keep asking me, well, there are good people somewhere. And if so, what can they... I have no idea. Because you're dealing with mystery school people, the X-Class protect for real. And you're also... they're playing with each other. And they can plunge the whole world back into the Dark Ages like lickety-split. And we all know about the Al Bielek map. Run the Mississippi backwards, hit the Madrid Fault, re-Pangea the planet a little bit. And the other thing he mentioned that I've talked about, them hunting down the people with past lives in Atlantis. Yep, I wrote about it in 2013 in great detail because I was assailed by a bunch of people. They're like, I am this and I am that. And I'm like, oh boy, what's going on? Oh, the Pleiadians, they love me. So, for those of you that still don't understand why I am so dissonant towards you who believe in aliens, it's because you won't acknowledge synthetic biology for 30 years. You won't acknowledge a bunch of us who've come forward and been like, they turn people into things. They go to college for that. Not really, it's a science. A few of them. Okay, whoa. Where did the R&D come from for the intrabody area network and all this nanotechnology that just... Here it is. That's not how it works. Where's the research and development? Hi, welcome to the channel. And what we found is that they went ahead and had people, humans, turn them into things, and this ain't the first time. Life extension technology, regenerative medicine, Tufts, Harvard, Dr. Michael Levin, cracking the bioelectric code. Why is that body part so important? What's the big deal? What are we going to do? They've cracked your bioelectric code. You have bioelectricity. And I haven't found a preacher in a pulpit yet that will admit to God's own creation properly. If you can feel your own bioelectricity, you will be exiled from their evil 501c3 brainwash centers. They will badger you into submission. Well, how is that any different than going and signing up for Hive AI? Whoop. See. This is a warning again to every single human that values their soul. They're under your skin for 30 years, and no, they are not going to return remote control of your central nervous system. They've had it for too long. A lot of them are missing biological brain tissue now on purpose. Go check out South by Southwest. We have organelles and organoids. They connect in that 8th sphere, but we don't call it that. And it's not the metaverse. And we got all this quantum, and life is great. Just adhere with your AI. Just join your digital twin. Excuse me. So 100 years ago, this guy named Rudolf Steiner, who tends to be very smart. I've listened to 7 hours at a time directly from him, okay, as far as the people reading his work in that library thing on the YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. So how did that guy know 100 years ago that you were going to upload people to the cloud? Because you were already doing it. Underground IBM didn't change. It's still there. You know what else is still there? Biocomputing. You know what else is still there? In the same locations. Big-ass data centers for your synchrotrons, your cyclotrons, and all the other stuff Dr. Farrell talks about with the Dark Journalist. Thank you, everyone on the channel. I truly appreciate your consideration and possibly your time. Excuse me. Thank you. I haven't heard you say biofield anywhere necessarily. But I don't think you're like Jones. They think you gatekeep. I don't think you're gatekeeping. Maybe you are, in a few places. I don't think so. I think you're on a different track. Because when you wax poetic with how you are explaining things, and when you held up your book with that coffee stain, you're like, so this is in college. That was, for me, very refreshing. A lot of my writing is from when I was very young and watching a lot of stuff happen going, what is going on? We're the guardians. We're here to save you. And my friends in the 8th grade, they're like, ooh, they love us. And I said, nah, man, that's a dude in a headset. I really hope that there's more people out there that will hear you properly in regards to what you started your show with. Because you are, in my opinion, you're correct. If we can get people to talk about this anatomy, if they knew, they're like, whoa, 30 years of what? Maybe. But there are still many humans out there that care about having a soul. I've got a bunch of them on my channel. So thank you for saying it out loud, very clearly. Something that other folks have been talking about too. They're going, I think by that 8th sphere, they're talking sort of about the metaverse. Maybe biocomputing, plasmonic and photonic chipset for interoperability of jumping in and out of bodies. 14 years. Commercial. I don't need to tell you, you know, if it's been commercial that long, the industry's all there. They've been doing it the whole time. They have genetic circuits. They have a bunch of stuff. And the other thing that you mentioned, the moon crashes down and then they unleash a bunch of things that are made of plant and mineral. That's the engineering that I'm literally looking at. It's there since 2016. They told them they were going to Mars, a nanostep at a time. So thank you for all the work that you do. And if you would be so kind, would you please thank your brilliant assistant lady? Boy, is she fun to listen to. Truly. All right, everybody. Mark 536, amen. And I hope you go check it out. And I feel a lot better after last night, actually, amazingly enough, because I was like, well, all right, fine. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. And in our community, when I woke up this morning, I just prayers right away, etc. Y'all are in the general chat comparing notes with martial arts of different styles, different things, doing what our Telegram is known for. Communication. Nobody's ripping anybody down. There's no fighting. Everybody's like, well, what about this? And what about that? And I thought about this and I tried that. Good. Protect one another, okay? Hard fire up. See y'all later.